I am joined by iPlayWinner.com's very own Horns. Now, you have done absolutely loads for the community. Can you give our audience just a little idea of what you've contributed to the FGC?
Well, everything that I've put together for the FGC is really nothing without like the support I've got from everybody else who's involved. Because really I'm just one guy, and the reason I'm able to do a lot of the stuff that I do is just because of a lot of other people in the community and a lot of some key figures in Capcom. At Capcom rather, so I really just try to give back when I can, hold it down in the pilot seat, for all these streams and whatnot. But if you guys don't know who I am, I'm pretty much the first fighting game streamer that was out there. I started about 4 years ago with like some. I don't know if you guys watched Keystone streams back in the day, but they're really like raunchy fighting game streams. And from there, we kind of cleaned up our act a little bit and put together NorCal Regionals, more recently Aftershock, and then we teamed up with Team Spooky about 3 years ago, and since then we've been able to produce Evo 2 years running now.
That's amazing. And you've been traveling the world with Capcom, putting on and streaming these 25th anniversary festivals. Where do you think the best place to hold a tournament's been so far, and what's it like traveling the world with the guys who made Street Fighter?
Well, the best place is here in the UK, obviously.
Hey, don't feel obliged to say that, man. I know about the food.
Yeah, the food's awful here, but no, I mean, each place has been really unique and really special in its own way. My personal favorite was probably like Taiwan. Taipei was really cool, and the reason why is because Sony actually put on the entire production. So Sony dumped so much money into this thing. It was crazy. It was in this huge like event center, and like all the banners they have here, they're like twice as big, went up to the ceiling. You walk out on the street, and for like miles they had Street Fighter stuff like along the walls of the buildings. So that was really cool. It was I think the main thing though is just that you get so like kind of like caught up in your own like local scene. You forget that like there's just so many people all over the world who are into Street Fighter and Capcom games and just fighting games in general. So it's just been really amazing to see that there are people from all walks of life all over the world who are just as passionate as anyone else about the games. Well,
you've seen pretty much every scene there is to see in the world. Do you have any pointers for the UK scene?
Well, the one thing that's a little that kind of rubs me the wrong way, and the one thing that I see that's kind of like prevalent like all across the world and also here in the UK is just the fragmentation of the fighting game scene. And it's like everybody is kind of out to, I guess, get their own and like be in the spotlight. And within that process, I've seen there's like a lot of division and a lot of streamers, a lot of players, a lot of organizations. They just don't want to work with each other. And it's like really sad to see that, because that's probably like the main thing that's that's been holding back the community. And so I see that like here in the UK, I saw, see it like all over the place, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little disheartening to see that. So my hope is that moving forward over the next like year or two, people kind of look back and see how silly it is to like be at odds with each other, and just realize that we're all here to like play games, and if we all work together and like put on like cool events and get some of the lesser known players out there and put them in the spotlight so they're more inclined to play better, and put them up against like some of the top guys, and just get everybody working together. That's what's really going to help elevate the scene as a whole.
Now, on the subject of fragmentation, I read an interview with, I believe, ESLTworld.com a couple of years ago, where you were talking about eSports and how you said you didn't really care about the whole thing, how the people coming to tournaments and mouthing off about eSports, how kind of wasn't what the whole FGC was about. Capcom has not merged, but they're starting to work together with IPL, which is an esports organization. Have things changed in the last 2 years? Like, what's your opinion on all of that?
Well, I think when it comes to esports and like fighting games, I think a lot of people are just hesitant because it comes out of like the presentation, the presentation of events and the preservation of the scene as well. And I think a lot of it, especially back then, the timing just was not right at all. You know what I mean? Like, not only was the FGC kind of in its own place, but also, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of the esports organizations were a little just too out of touch with the fighting game scene. Since then, I think the scene's been able to communicate these leagues a little bit better about like how the tournaments are run, what the players are about, what the fans want to see, what's important to spectators. So the landscape has changed quite a bit, and there's a lot of people. There's many people over at IPL who definitely get it, and they're working towards a common goal. And I think with like a lot of like what I said in that interview at the time, he was absolutely right. You don't want these bigger leagues to just kind of stomp on like these events that have been like 10, 15 years running now. So I guess I'm always had this philosophy where nothing's like really inherently bad. Especially when it comes to things like esports. It's just it's more about like timing, and you want to do things right. And it's just a lot of people we live in this time where it's just you can get everything immediately, and so people have no patience, basically. And it's like I would rather things be done right, and rather than just what's the quickest way to get like money in the hands of top players, which I think is important because it helps players travel, it gives them more incentive to continue to play. So all that stuff's important, but you want to make sure that all the other aspects of preserving the community and just doing things right, it's just you want all that stuff to be executed well, so you don't want to rush into this stuff. So, but I think with IPL on scene, things. The timing's just it's more right now, than it has been in the past.
I mean, I've seen loads and loads of people from all different walks of life here today. I mean, you're from California, Z's from Singapore, Momochi's here, he doesn't even speak English, but we all have a sort of common thread. Like, what do you think constitutes a member of the FGC?
Member of the FGC. It's a good question. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just like how do you contribute? Are you a player? Are you do you you help put together events? Do you stream? Are you doing interviews? But I think it's that's actually an interesting question, because now that you think about it, it's like and for a while people a lot of times there's this big discussion. It's like, oh, stream monsters aren't part of the FGC, but it's like actually they are. They're these are people tuning in, like watching streams. They're spectators. It's just like that's like saying that like fans of the NFL aren't part of the NFL. You know what I mean? And they're not players, but like it can't exist without them. So I think whether you're like watching streams, putting on events, you're a player. I think as long as you're contributing and making other people more aware of like what's going, what makes all this stuff so fun and exciting. I think that's enough to get your badge. All
right. One last question, and I'm aware I'm competing with the Tannoy man at the 25th anniversary tournament. One last question: where does the name Haunts come from?
Oh, I don't know. I was like a freshman in high school, and I liked the Pokemon Haunter, so...
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it was just a play on Haunter. Yeah, so I just call myself Haunts. Yeah. I mean, I wish I had a better, story. It's like, everybody asks me that, like, yo, where's Haunts from? I don't know. My dad worked at a morgue or some shit. That's not it. It's like really, really nerdy and really corny, so...
Well, it's been an absolute honor speaking to you. Thank you very much for the interview. I saw you working for a good 12 hours solid on the stream yesterday, so best of luck to you today. You are an invaluable member of the community. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. Follow me on Twitter @Haunts.
All right, cheers. Thank you.